CIA Director John Brennan told NBC News in an exclusive interview that his agency will not engage in waterboarding, even if ordered by a future president.
The CIA used waterboarding and other techniques on terrorist suspects after the 9/11 attacks. In an exclusive interview, Brennan spoke with NBC's Richard Engel. I just spoke to Engel about what this means for the CIA moving forward. Richard, in your interview with Director Brennan, the topic of waterboarding came up. Give us the context in which you were asking about that controversial practice.
Well, it's very rare for CIA director, a sitting CIA director, to comment in any way about domestic politics. And the conversation about waterboarding came up not as a political question. We were discussing counterterrorism, ISIS, the fight against al-Qaeda. He was talking about the agency's success in decimating the core group of al-Qaeda. And then in lessons learned, he started talking about the enhanced interrogations program, as the CIA called it, waterboarding, one of those techniques, and said that the agency doesn't do it anymore. It's been illegal since 2009, and that it was not something the agency would repeat, not something the agency thinks was necessary, and has other ways of gathering intelligence, which opened the door to the question, well, what about the current political candidates, the presidential candidates, who are saying, namely Trump, that they would bring waterboarding back and more? And he said, no, under no circumstances would the CIA do that. He also said other government agencies shouldn't do that. So he made it quite clear that for the CIA it is a closed door, which they will not reopen, even for a future president.
You're right, that is extraordinary, Richard. Of course, terrorism, counterterrorism, very much on the minds of Americans these days. What else can we expect from your interview with Brennan tonight? Is he satisfied with the way the agency is fighting terrorism?
The interview tonight just focuses on this issue about waterboarding, torture, and the controversy around it. We will be broadcasting in the coming days and coming weeks more reports on terrorism, but I can give you a highlight now if you'd like. He was basically saying that, numerically speaking, there are more terrorists now than there were before because of the rise of ISIS. It's a much bigger organization than al-Qaeda ever was, and that's quite an admission from a CIA director. Normally they like to just talk about success, but he said that even though they're numerically more, it's a major challenge, that the United States, he thinks, is safer, that the United States has gotten better at identifying threats, identifying terrorists, unlike Europe. He was contrasting it to the way that people keep slipping through the cracks in Europe, like we've seen time and time again in Paris twice, most recently in Brussels.
Richard Engel, thank you for your time tonight, and we look forward to your interview later this evening on NBC Nightly News.
My pleasure.